Hey everyone, thanks for finding my little YouTube channel. I'm just doing a short video today. It's actually on a book, a hardcover book. It's something I pre-ordered a while ago, and it's been so long that I pre-ordered it that I completely forgot about it, to be honest. And it just showed up today. It's one of those books that's just, I think, a total treasure trove of information and nostalgia for video game nerds like me, and possibly for you. So I figured I'll do a little video blurb and review on it. So enjoy. Let's head on downstairs and take a look at this book. Okay guys, today we have the book The Art of Atari. I still can't really believe someone actually made this book. This is one of those books I've been wanting to have made, I think, forever, really, because I've always been fascinated by Atari's art from back in the day, especially in the 2600 days, because I had that machine, and you really had to use your imagination a lot with those games because the graphics are so primitive, so the art played a big role. And this one just came out. I actually had forgotten about it, and I ordered it, and here it is. Here's the back cover. Get a nice shot of that. I ended up getting it from Amazon. It was about 32 bucks, something like that. Tim Lapatino, here's the author. So let's just get into it. It covers a whole bunch. I love this. I wonder if I can name most of these games. Yeah, I probably could. This is very 2600 heavy because that was some of the greatest art ever. So here's the basic breakdown. I mean, the meat of it is, I would say, starting from about here where it says box artwork on page 56, and it goes to about the industrial design on page 292. That's kind of the crux of this thing, and it goes through all kinds of box art, primarily in the Atari 2600, but they cover arcade as well. And they have profiles on some of the artists. Outside of that, they have some of it on art and design, coin-op, a little bit of that, some on the home consoles. Down here, they go a little bit to the design process, prototypes, and advertising. So we'll go through this just a little bit. I'm obviously not going to show the whole book, but we'll just kind of go through little parts of it here and there. I think I'll remember these. This is fascinating. This is not a toy. So this is retailer-focused advertising, 1977. Yeah, with the launch games, they're all numbered. Yeah, it even gets to the typography, which is kind of neat. The two Atari fonts, which are just so memorable. Huh. I actually have that poster still. Well, of course, the logos, the Atari logos, they even cover that. These are the final Atari logo concepts by George Opperman. Look at that. It seems so obvious that that's what it needs to be now, but I suppose it could have been any of those back in the day. And they cover coin-op here a little bit. I thought this was the Euro art, actually. The European art for pole position too, but there seemed to implying it was on the cockpit style version. Okay. Alright, this is where you get to the meat of it. This is where it gets real interesting. Box artwork. I was absolutely fascinated by this artwork back in the day. I don't know, it was just such incredible artwork, and they needed it to kind of sort of get the idea of the game across, because the game graphics were just so primitive. I mean, let's look at some of these here. Oh, this one's cool. I mean, not that I cared for this game back then, but I always loved this art. It seems to have a Beatles influence almost on this one, this particular style of drawing. See, I always remember this one. I mean, you look at this art. That was on the box, but that's what the game was. Let's see if we can get that up here. So, I mean, but this, I wish I could get a poster of this, actually. This art is just incredible. Oh, Maze Craze. I always remembered this one because there were two box variations. I wonder if they don't explain why, which is a shame. I always remember seeing this one a lot, and on a rare occasion you'd see this variant here. Mostly this one. I wonder why they did alternate artworks. It doesn't really explain. Yeah, it just says alternate. So this was the game packaging. I guess that's the official one. This one's just listed as alternate. Slot Racers. Another perfect example of why you really needed your imagination back in the day. I mean, you look at this art. This is just crazy art. It's like almost like F-Zero X, Speedway kind of thing. These crazy cars, still in kind of 70s style. Then you play the actual game, and that's what it is. But I mean, this art is just amazing. Of course. Yes, I'm going to assume there it is. Talk about your influential games, at least for me. This was one of the three games that actually got me so enthralled with video games that it led me to become a video game programmer later in life. Because I ended up being a video game programmer for about, I don't know, 15 years or something like that. This game, I would say, Pitfall was a big one. But definitely this game. It just created a world to live in. And again, you can look at the game itself. Primitive as all hell. But, this is what I would imagine when I was playing it. Did this one, Susan Jekyll, Jaekel. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Yeah, here's another one. Oh, same artist. Is it the same artist? Oh, that's Susan again. Oh, I guess I'm a fan of hers. I absolutely love this game, and the art was just cool, real whimsical. Let me see what it says here. Yeah. That's interesting. I was obviously using Yellow Submarine influences at the time. Yeah, so she does have a little bit of a Beals influence in her art. This one was so cool, because I actually did enjoy this game back then, and here's the game, of course, nice and primitive on the Atari. But sure enough, because of the art, I would imagine myself as this guy floating around, putting the pieces in play. I don't know, maybe it was just me, but the art really did affect what I was thinking in my head when I was playing these games. Okay, there we go. So here's how it does. It has various artist profiles as you go along. I think it just has a couple of pages on each, yeah. So this one is for Susan, that we saw previously, the Adventure and Circus Atari and so on. Oh, here we go. I list them all. So 3D Tic-Tac-Toe, Game of Concentration, Adventure, and so on. It lists the games they did. There she is, back in the day. And it has a little blurb. I'll have to read this later. I have not read the whole book yet. I actually just got it. I'm just kind of going through it together with you guys. Yeah, it's interesting. The climate for women illustrators is great. I think illustration is a field where gender doesn't matter. You hear a lot about this, about Atari back in the day, how just the climate, the work climate there was second to none. They just, at least earlier on, they let people do whatever they wanted to do. They kind of gave you a desk, your equipment, and were like, go, create. You can hear about the programmers saying that quite a bit back in the day. I guess before it got all corporate a little later. And it looks like she's implying the same. That is pretty cool. Asteroids. This is a definite throwback to memory lane here. I love when they do the two-sided both pages for the poster. That's definitely Missile Command. Another incredible piece of art. Oh, I always loved this art. And again, the game looked primitive, but this game was just an absolute blast to play. I remember this. I think it was something like the king and his four sons were feuding or something like that. They always try to put a story around these games, but it didn't matter a whole lot. I just remember, okay, this is the art. This is the dude I am. Hey, we're fighting with catapults, and then I would play and I'd imagine this. At least that's how I used to do it. Oh, concept art. Sketch concept art for Haunted House. Never saw that before. So that's Steve Hendricks. Oh, Combat 2. Cover art for unreleased Combat 2. So they have art even for games that didn't release. I guess they got as far as making a whole bunch of concept art. So they had cover art done and interior manual art. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Had Defender. This one was always kind of neat. I always assumed what this meant is he's flying by and he's beaming you down like he has just saved you and he's the Defender, as they say. Here's some more concept art, sketch concept art. Steve Hendricks again. Here's the 5200 art, I think, right? Yeah. I don't think it's as good. It's the 2600 art era was better. Yeah, E.T. I know people are bragging this game too much. I don't think it's as bad as everyone says. The art is cool. I like this art style. What was this one? Hiro Kimura. Oh, there's another one. Cover art for unreleased Frog Pond for Atari 2600. That's pretty cool. Hey, I don't remember this ad for Haunted House. Huh. I never saw that one back in the day. So they're showing some coin-op stuff here too. I don't remember it having wood grain. I thought it was always white. Is this... Okay, it's a promotional photo, so maybe they changed it later. Ah, what is this? Cover art for unreleased Tempest. Wow, I mean, look at this. This is funky. I mean, you can see again, the game is just like, well, it is Atari 2600, so they need fascinating art to sell it, and This is just really cool. See, the beautiful fast-paced game of the same name stormed the arcades, blah, 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 blah. Versions for both the 2650 and 200 were started, but neither completed. A prototype box for the 2600 version had surfaced, which proved that the artwork was created before the project was shelved. Crystal Castles always has some of the greatest art ever. I have the stand-up arcade machine of this one. Just that side art can't be beat. That's probably the best side art ever made. Like I said, I'm not going to show every page, obviously, because I'm not going to show the entire book, but just kind of flipping through here. Unreleased manual and concept art for Dukes of Hazzard Atari 2600. Wow. See, again, I've never seen this one. It's 1982. Oh, here we go. So another artist profile. Let's see, James Kelly. Okay, so he's worked on some games here, of course, like Maze Craze. Okay, cool. Dodgem Galaxian. I was like the Dodgem art as well. But here, this, I mean, anyone who knows an Atari, or owned an Atari back in the day, knows this art. That was right from the manual. Interior manual art for Atari VCS 2600. Oh, what is this? Unused cover art for Rubik's Cube, Atari 2600. This one is cool. And they ended up with that one. I wonder why. I actually like this one better. Sword Quest. These games are so dependent on the art because, oh goodness, the games were not very visually appealing, really, really tough and kind of cryptic to play. I just couldn't get into them back in the day. I mean, I tried, but they were, I don't know, they were not up my alley. But the art, I mean, the art speaks for itself, I'd say. Oh, there's Waterworld. I wonder if they have Airworld. Oh, they do. There we go. Airworld they never released. Unreleased cover art for Sword Quest Airworld. I mean, this goes on and on. Like I said, I'm not going to... So here we're at the industrial design part. Just to give you an idea what I mean. Where was the box art area? Somewhere here. There we go. So box art begins at page 57. Industrial design begins at page 292. So you literally have this much of box art. I mean, it's just crazy. It just goes on and on and on. Box art and profiles. I mean, it's just nuts. I'm going to give you a little fashionable bookmark as well if you want to use that sort of thing. So to get into the industrial design part, I won't cover there as too much because I don't want to give away the whole book. But it has some pretty neat stuff I briefly glanced at before because I was curious. So design and, you know, concept design pictures for the Atari 2600, which I thought were pretty cool. This one in particular, yeah, this guy I'm going to take a peek at. It's smaller cartridge design, and you can store the cartridges in the machine. I don't know why they were so into storage on the machine back then. It was just like a thing, I guess. I don't know. It was just something, we got to be able to store controllers and cartridges on the machine. I don't know why, but it was just a thing back then. Who knows why? Atari 800. I always lusted after this, but simply couldn't afford it. Just what a beautiful design. This thing was definitely way ahead of its time, I thought. For 1979 to have hardware sprites, hardware scrolling. I mean, it was just, I don't know, I thought it was amazing. This is kind of a cool thing. So, in the prototype section, alternate packaging. I don't know what to make of this packaging, but I suppose maybe it would have grown on me. Who knows? It just looks weird to see it after the fact, especially wrapped around some games like Circus Atari. You know, you're used to having a certain color. Same with like, you know, like Asteroids here in Breakout. And in the end, you have advertising. Yep. The typical late 70s style advertising. The happy family smiling with their Atari. Yeah, there's a launch ad, 1978. Don't watch TV, play it. I always remember this ad because I used to look at it and think like, okay, which games was I going to get from this stack? This was before I even had it as a kid. But I used to just sit there and say, yeah, I'll get this one, I'll get that one. Yeah. And there you have it. That's forgetting about the end. I mean, I skipped quite a bit. This book is enormous. I mean, you can see the page number here. Well, the last page is it goes to that. We'll say 351. 351 pages. It is a monstrous book. And here's the author, Tim Lapatino. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. I thought this book was absolutely amazing. I've been wanting this forever. Here, just to show you again how much we're dealing with here on thickness, how thick this book is. This is a hunk of book. And I mean, I had to get the hardcover because there's just something about having a hardcover, especially for old stuff like this. But I mean, I like this book so much that I ended up getting the digital book as well. I had to. I mean, you know, as cool as the hardcover is and as much nostalgia as that gives you, it is kind of neat to just be able to have the book anywhere as well. And it looks real nice on here. I mean, you can scroll real quick through different pages as you want. You can just even type a page, you know, 55, whatever. Go right to it. So here, like box artwork. You know, and you can, of course, zoom in and do it like pages like this, like a book, which is, you know, super nice. Let me tilt it a little. No, I'll get some glare that way. And this looks kind of cool when you come up to the... Sometimes they have art that spans both pages. Like here we go. You know, like it'll show both pages together like that. That's just really cool. And that's the pages like that, as you can see here. Yeah, and there's 3D Tic-Tac-Toe and Circus Atari like we saw before. So, I mean, I highly recommend this book. I really can't recommend it enough. I ended up getting both. I believe it was about $32 for the hardcover. And I think I read about the same, $31 for the digital book. I got it on Google Play. I assume it's available everywhere, but who knows. Strongly recommended. I'm going to have fun with it and dig in with it. I've only kind of just scratched the surface now because I just got the book. I wanted to just quickly videotape it and kind of check it out on the fly. I mean, I did a sneak peek at some of the stuff, but I haven't really dug into it much yet. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll head back up to the office. Well, that about wraps up this video. As you may have guessed from the little review, I absolutely love this book and wholeheartedly recommend it. The Art of Atari. Let's get it without glare. This is the hardcover edition. Like I said, it's just a tome, absolute tome of information. Yeah, and I bought it on Amazon and I got the Google Play digital book version as well. I'm sure you can find it in a whole lot of different places. Strongly recommended. This is just great bedtime reading. Just, you know, a little bit of a trip back through time. It's great for, you know, if you're like kind of a old video game nerd like I am, or if also you're fascinated by the art of these old games like I am. I mean, they were such an essential part of the gaming, at least for me, back in the days of the Atari 2600. Hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.